Zoom out here. So back at the shop, wanted to talk about building business equity and kind of the plans that I'm working through and my thought process on it. Not a new thing to me, but also not a thing that I've really gotten deep into, discovered, and really studied. But one of the first things we did was one of my old TVs. This is my old room TV, 70-inch Vizio, love Vizios, and took that out of my room and had it in my living room, got another one, but brought it to the shop. So now what we're doing is reinvesting into the shop, of course, any little extra money that we have, excuse me, any little extra money we have, putting it back into the shop. So now what we've done is paid the gentleman or our technician to run cabling for power and Ethernet cables so we can have some high-speed data here, or kind of the highest speed for streaming. So now we have four 55-inch TCL Roku TVs. Got them at a decent price at Walmart, about $318. So got 4 of these TVs, bought them over time or saved up, then went ahead and made the purchases and went ahead and also got the paid for the service to get everything done. What we also did is expanded our subscription. So now we have Sling TV in here, the orange plus blue package, and also Netflix, and upgraded that to the highest service that they have, which is like the $15.99. And that gives you can stream 4 different things at the same time. So got Netflix on this TV, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on this TV, and this is the barber section. Move back here, one of our advertising TVs. This is gonna be another advertising TV, but somebody else put that in there. And then back here I have Sling, and this is the stylus section. So here we have Sling, and we have Sling on this one. So essentially, showing off the shop here, trying to do things to improve the way the space itself looks, also doing things to make the space better. We had a problem with flies coming in through this back door. We have an Aldi's supermarket and then a church that puts out food and lets it rot for days, so it's pretty bad. I think they only get like a pickup once every 2 weeks or something. It's kind of crazy. But we got to do things to make more improvements around here. One is repair the floors. It's been about a year. People slide through here all the time with their chairs. So that's one thing that we got to look at. But what I'm trying to do essentially is build more business equity and do things to actually build equity in the business itself to make it more comfortable for the tenants that are here. Make it something that it's worth their while and they want to actually be here for it, or be here for the shop and actually do business here and keep on doing business here and paying their rent. So that's one of the more important things, and that's one thing that I've been trying to focus on. And what I'm doing, I think I've repeated this a little bit, but what I'm focusing on is right now catching up on some bills, because we are behind on some things, but that's mostly because of a cash flow issue. It's not totally because we don't have the money, but the money doesn't come in a timely fashion. So that's another thing that we have to handle with our tenants, saying, hey, start putting in a late fee. We didn't want to do it, but at the same time, we've been running for a year and people are playing around, and that's causing us to be behind in some cases. So, got to do what you got to do to make sure that the business stays up and running and there are no problems. But as part of the building of the business equity, the reason why we're taking that stance or that path is simply because that's how you can get more money if you want to sell the business later on. Also, that's how you can get more money when you're trying to entice people to come in here. So one thing we've done as well, cleaned up this area just a little bit, organized it, gotta pick that up, organized it. So we have somebody that, uses these tables here, no problem. This is actually pretty clean here. That's not bad at all. Also, we have some empty barber stations. So 2, 3 barber stations that are empty. That person, I don't think she's coming back. So we'll call it empty as well. But what we want to do is fill up these seats. So one of the things we do is add things like TVs, add things like the water heater that we have back there. And that was an improvement that we made so we can have better hot water, because we were having complaints about the way the water would heat up and then cool down suddenly and then heat right back up. So it was more of an environment issue and people didn't really like that. So you want to do things to actually improve the environment around here or in your business in general, and that's what we chose to do, and we're doing a couple other things to focus on that. Right now, the next operation that we're running is Operation Ketchup, as I mentioned, and that's mainly so we can actually it'll help save us about $150 in late fees on just one of our bills. So if we can catch up with that one, that's a savings, and then we can just stay on top of it. This month is a 5-week month, and so with it being a 5-week month, we get that extra check at the end, and with that extra check at the end, we can do a couple other things. So that's what we're focusing on, trying to use this month to try and catch up as best as possible, and then of course make little reinvestments in the business, such as another one would be cleaning, making sure that everything is kept clean around here. You really can't see it too well. The shop is not dirty, but it's not clean either. It's a salon, so we have cleaning 3 times a week. We have somebody that's here on a daily basis. A brother that's helping, my business partner brought one of his mentees in, or one of his friends really, to try and help us clean up on a daily basis. So that's definitely something that's gonna help us. And after that, really, the biggest thing is just focusing on making sure that we keep up with the things that we already have in place. And that's another way to build business equity. So our thought is, if we were to sell this place, I wouldn't sell it now. It doesn't make any sense to do that. So while I have it, I want to actually build more equity to make it actually more valuable, of course, and sell it for a profit to where we're making 6 figures a piece at least, especially with the amount of work, all the trials, tribulations that we've gone through, the obstacles that we've overcome to actually get to this point where the shop is still running, a year build out plus another year of actual operation. And then we don't want to do it we don't want to sell this place to at a point where it's in a shit position, as I would call it. So a shit position would be, you know, certain bills aren't paid, things aren't caught up, you know, we're still in debt on certain loans, so on and so forth. So I want to be in a better place with this shop and sell it in a better place as well. I don't want to just fork my debt over or push my debt off to somebody else. These big ass flies, bro. There's still one in here. I don't know how the hell that got in here. Somebody must have left the door open. But that's one thing I want to do, is actually make it to where this shop is in a better position. So that also makes it a little bit more enticing to somebody come in. It's kind of turnkey. Hey, shop is done. There's no problems. We got all the chairs filled, or at least an 80% fill rate. And all you have to do is just make sure everybody that's here is good and there's no problems. So, for instance, one scenario would be if somebody comes in with a large sum of money, say about 500-600 grand. Well, with that 500-600 grand, we could split it 3 ways between the partners. Partners can pay whatever debt we have accrued because of this actual operation or this this business, and then we could take that money, and then any extra money we could probably even put it back into the business and say, hey, things like the equipment, because the equipment is still, we're paying that loan on a monthly basis. And if we pay that loan, then it's like, okay, well, if we pay all that off, then we're in a better position, or we leave the business in a better position. So it's something where we can hand over this business to the next person that wants to buy into it and say, hey, don't fuck this up. We've left it in a place, we left it in a way that you can actually use it, or you can actually make money off of it on a regular basis, and all you have to do is just collect your rent and make sure everything is clean. You know, all your cleaning is set up, all your TVs, electronics, or anything, everything is in place. We leave it in a good spot for you. Any and everything is fixed. All vendors and other suppliers or anything like that, we're in good positions with them. All you have to do is not fuck it up. And that's kind of the way I want to leave it, even if we do sell it. I'm really in the long term where we actually have this place for at least 5 years or so, and that would be a lot better to me in my freaking fly. Sorry. That would be a lot better in my mind in terms of, you know, letting this business go. And you always have to think about those things because you don't want to be unprepared when an opportunity like that comes in place. So if somebody says, hey, listen, I want to buy this place for $150, you don't jump out of your seat like, oh my God, that's a lot. No, fuck that. I don't want $150. I want like 300, 600. Excuse me, 300, 500, 600, something like that. If I get this place to where it's actually making you a decent revenue, and we get it to making the numbers that we've speculated, then, damn it. Sorry, I'm really trying to kill this damn fly because they're freaking annoying. But if we get this place to a point where, we can make good money off of it, then maybe we don't want to sell it. We just want to keep it as a cash cow and then roll that money into another business. So there's a lot of things you can do. Just wanted to kind of like show off the shop, some of the things that we've done. Really, these TVs, I just hung 2 of them myself. But we had the guy come in here and actually put up all the mounts. I actually got to clean that spot. That's where one of the old TVs that died on us, you know, was. So he finally took that down for us. So I actually got to clean that up and go from there. But as always, thanks for listening.